Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Solutions with Chanti and the first of the episodes with me, Chantal, in the field with Chanti, where we're going to be chatting about all sorts of things happening at the moment, how we can transform that, what we need to do to make life easier at this point in time of our existence, wherever we are in the world. So yeah, this is what this show is about, this particular channel. So welcome everybody, and I hope you enjoy the offerings that will be offered on this show. It's Thursday, and today we are talking about stillness in the storm, finding meaning in chaos. Wow, what a time we're living in. Really, really, what a time we're living in. And I want to begin today with something real, which is not abstract, not symbolic, or even philosophical, right? In Minnesota, a woman was shot in the head in public by an ICE officer. This happened in daylight. There were witnesses. People were taking video footage of what was going on. So I'm not really here to debate whether it happened or not, or to analyze, right? I'm not here to try and provoke more outrage, because God knows there's enough already. And I can tell you for sure, this incident, sure as heck, provoked outrage in me. But the reason, and I found it so interesting because this morning, just before I started my yoga practice, actually, this story was sent to me. Talk about being provoked, because I was absolutely buzzing. And then, lo and behold, a miracle happened. Literally, as I was starting my yoga practice, my phone rang, and it was my granddaughter. That was just before 9 this morning. And it's very unusual for her to be calling me on a video call, of all things, at 9 o'clock in the morning. And when I answered the phone, she just said to me with this sleepy little face, and she just said to me, "Hello, Granny. I just woke up and I was thinking about you, and something told me I needed to phone you." And then she called. And honestly, if she'd called like a half a minute later, I probably would have not taken the call, because I wouldn't have seen it. But that's pretty much how my chaos, if you will, was calmed in a beautiful way this morning. And I noticed that, and I was very grateful. Because there are certain things in life as well that they will calm us, right? Certain people, certain sounds, certain smells, absolutely. But what I'm really here to say as well is that these events, they don't happen out there. They don't just happen out there. They enter us. They hit our nervous system. They completely fracture our sense of safety, don't they? Right? Where in the world is it okay for a police officer to shoot a woman in the head twice and then have the government defend him? You know, these incidents, they lodge in the body before the mind ever forms an opinion about it, if you think about that, because that shock is literally at cellular level, right? And then the mind will form an opinion about what that shock's about. And this is important to say, like, really plainly. Because what makes moments like this so destabilizing isn't just the act itself. It's that they keep happening. Different places, different faces, the same shock. It's like an accumulation of shock, right? And it just layers one on top of the other. Let's look at what chaos really is, if we're going to look at it like that. Because most people think chaos is disorder in the world. It's not. Chaos is something that happens within us when the nervous system is repeatedly overwhelmed and never gets time to settle. That's what happens within us. One incident triggers fear, right? Another adds anger. Another adds grief. Another adds helplessness. Another adds mistrust. And before the world moves, or rather, let me just say, because the world moves fast, we don't integrate any of it. We just stack it, one on top of the other. And that's when people start to confuse, like, reaction with clarity. Think about that. Your reaction to this in your mind is now the clear picture it's formed on that incident. And all of us have different barometers for that, right? We then get fueled into rage with righteousness, and we call it righteous anger. We confuse certainty with truth. We're so sure about something, and we're so sure that it's the truth. And that's how chaos spreads, actually. Not just through violence, but through dysregulation. That's what it is. The energy is completely dysregulated. And obviously part of that is violence. But before we go any further, I'd actually like to play a couple of video clips that I saw this morning of the incident that I'm speaking of, the woman in Minnesota. So we're going to start, and there's going to be a couple that I play, and bearing in mind it's not just this, there are some others, but I don't know, I don't want to overwhelm everyone here with all of this, because some of us are overwhelmed. I mean, if we think of it here in Africa, on Christmas Day, Nigeria gets bombed. On New Year's, Venezuela gets bombed. And not just to mention the chaos that's happening all over the world. So it's one trauma after the other. And that's what we have to realize is happening here. So I want to play these clips for you guys, and just take a moment and watch them. And I'm going to point out some things afterwards. So in the meantime, let's have a look at the clips we're going to be playing.
They just killed that lady right there in that car, y'all. Killed that lady in that car. Somebody come get their people. It's a lady right there in that car, y'all. I don't want to show this on Facebook like that, y'all. I apologize. But y'all. Hey, was you riding with her? Did you call any of your people yet?
Are you here? I don't have
So you don't got none of her family members or anybody number? Do you know anybody on her Facebook? Alright. Damn. Oh my gosh, this is horrible, y'all. I don't want to show y'all this other shit. I'm not gonna show y'all this shit on there. But they just killed her, bro. They just killed her. That lady right there in the car, they pulling out. They shot her in the head, bro. That was her wife. They just walked up. Y'all doing too much out here, ICE. Y'all see what y'all just did? Y'all just killed an innocent person. Y'all going for the wrong people. I'm shaking like a motherfucker. Y'all gotta excuse me. It's cold as hell. Yeah. That's her, y'all. ICE done killed her.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased.
See, here you can see that instead of moving out of the way, he actually decides to draw his weapon and actually plant himself more firmly. In fact, he's leaning over the hood of the car right now on purpose. If you go frame by frame, you can see his feet are actually beside the vehicle at this point. And there is the first time he pulls the trigger, when again, both of his feet show that he has fully cleared the front of that vehicle. And then the next two shots happen here and then here. Both of which where he's very clearly having to aim through the driver's side window and actually appears to be running after the vehicle to catch up to it. This, by the way, after very clearly signaling to the ICE officers to pass by her on that street, which she was very clearly not blocking nor obstructing, because moments earlier when she first started to pull out, another vehicle started pulling out similarly and crossed in front of her. So she was telling the next one to go on ahead. And we're down.
We now know the identity of the person that the ICE thugs killed today. Her name was Renee Good. She was 37. She was a mother, and ICE shot her in the face. And look at the way that they're already framing it. This is what I mean when I tell you guys that the way that they weaponize the word terrorism to mean anything they want it to mean, how dangerous that is for just everyday people, okay? Because if everything you don't like is terrorism, then they can do whatever they want. And you have the fucking feds now getting on TV like Kristi Noem, excusing her murder, being like, well, you know, it was terrorism. And they were defending themselves. It's amazing that they're using the literal same lines that the IOF always uses. Oh, it was self-defense. Oh, it was terrorism. Like literally word for word, the same defense that the Israeli regime uses. The difference is that Americans still have some autonomy, so we can decide whether or not we accept this trash. Unlike the Palestinians, who don't have a say in any of that because they are completely fucking oppressed. They don't have any rights. They don't have any freedom. They can't fight anything. There's no justice for the Palestinians when this happens to them. This happening in our fucking streets, Americans can decide not to put up with that or not. Who is the person that killed her? Who is the thug that killed her? Do we know who he is? We should.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. I think that's enough of a sensory overload for one day. But I'm going to invite you, all who's watching, just take a moment and feel how your body feels after watching that. Your jaw clenches, stomach contracts, heart contracts, anger flares, right? That's how we feel when we see these crisis situations over and over and over again. And I'm pointing this out to you deliberately because I don't think most of us realize the effect that these situations actually have on us physiologically, right? So, Charles, whether it's a crisis actor or not, it doesn't matter. You know, we're hearing this stuff over and over again. And there's a design here, right? So what actually happens inside people when we watch this stuff over and over, and when our consciousness is flooded over and over? Your body stays in a low-grade fight or flight syndrome, right? So you either want to get the F or out of the planet or off the planet, right? Or you want to go in there and you are so infuriated by rage that you just want to attack someone. That puts your whole energy in a bad situation, your vibration lowers, and then guess what starts happening with those around you? You're in a bad mood with your kids, you're in a bad mood with your work colleagues, whatever it might be. That lower grade energy sets in. The mind searches for certainty as well as enemies. So now your mind automatically wants to go and find the perpetrator of this evil. People start confusing reaction with moral clarity. It's chaos. That's what chaos is. One psyop, psychological operation after the other. And that's how chaos replicates. Not just through violence, but through dysregulation. And this is not some ideology I've come up with. This is really human biology. And this is what, when we look, and those of us on this platform have understood what this is all about, why this is happening, we understand that the human loosh, human energy, is super important and super sweet and super delicious. So they keep us in that state. So I want you to really, all of you, take notice of how your bodies felt when you watched that. What thought processes did your mind travel to? What did you want to do when you saw that guy's face on the screen? This is the unaliver of the woman, right? So much so much, so much. What did you feel? And take notice of that. Because now imagine that feeling multiplied by a few billion people. You get a sea of distress. You get a cesspool of trauma, right? And you get people who start fighting with each other, dividing, conquering. Who's right? Who's wrong? That's what starts happening. That's what happens within chaos. Okay, so now, for those of you who've been watching my little mini series on the Ankara field, you're going to see how everything links. Everything goes hand in hand. Everything, all the information there, because what's operating here is the dark nest. If you've been watching the Ankara field series, what we just saw there is what happens in the dark nest. It's the flipped hexagon, the flipped bee honeycomb. Bees are the most important creatures on this planet. They've created the spiral of the honeycomb shape, which contains the perfect human frequency. That's why you're going to see in a lot of the darkness stuff, they also use the honeycomb. But their intention for using it is much different, because there they steal. They steal the sweetness, right? When it's flipped the right way around and we're back to honeybees, we share, we create together. We start seeing things together. We work together. There isn't one queen in the nest or in the castle. The queen is the project we work towards. My nest is to heal. And all the little honeycombs that come off that, there will be SRA, there will be animals, there will be children, there will be all sorts of things that I have offshoots to. So we look at what we're working towards rather than me, I've got to wear the crown and I'm the queen. Oh, when people start that, I don't think they even realize what they're saying, right? Exactly, Kyle. A honeycomb cell is the strongest build you will ever get. Exactly. Now think about how that translates to us humans. It contains the perfect human frequency. And that's why when they invert everything, we're always talking about how they invert stuff. Guys, this is how they do it. I'm showing you how they do it, and I'm telling you how they do it. And I'm also showing you how to uninvert that again. Because energy can never be created or destroyed, only ever transferred or transformed. So what they've done is they've taken the kids' energy, for example, and they've transferred it to their nest and used it for their horrible cakes they're baking, so to speak. Now, what we're doing is that energy is finding its way back, where it's transformed back into its original God-like space or state. So now we see the true hive for what it's meant to do. And hopefully, for those of you who are remembering, you will know that that's what I'm doing. So for those of you watching, thank you. Our numbers are currently small, but please keep sharing this information, because bit by bit, people will start cottoning on. I promise you, everyone will start to remember. So what I want to then do is just talk a little bit about how we turn this around, right? Silence. Think about the opposite of chaos. and that is silence. But stillness or silence is not what most people think. This is what I want to be very clear about. Stillness or silence does not mean pretending it didn't happen. I'll just brush that under the carpet. I'll keep quiet. Becoming passive, spiritualizing pain away, love and lighting it away, and rising above that which is your current reality. You must never forget, if you're on this planet, if you're on this earth right now, we're all hanging out together, journeying together. Your body is the most important point of focus you need to focus on. Not because you want to be using all sorts of cream to get rid of your cellulite dimples or whatever, or your belly, or your whatever. Your body, you recognize the resonance within your body and the perfection that it is, and you see so much deeper than what your face. It's beautiful to be adorned for good looks. I mean, a beautiful and a handsome man or whatever, attractive, it's wonderful that people are attractive and can wear beautiful clothing and what have you. But the trick is, don't ever get attached to that. Most people get attached to their things and their looks and all of these objects of affection. That's where we go wrong. Anyway, so what I was still saying is stillness is not an escape. Stillness is containment. It's the ability to say, this is real, and it will not take my center. So, how do we translate that into current events or into your life? So, let's look at this trauma we've just experienced, or this absolute impact of events that, this stacked up events that we see. Acknowledge stuff is happening. You can't spiritualize it away and sit in your room and pray all day or meditate all day and hope that someone or something is going to come save the day. It's not going to happen. You can't spiritualize things away like that. We have to acknowledge, I am here. I am seeing this for a purpose and a reason. Nothing crosses my path per accident. Nothing. Nothing. There's a reason. And often the harsher or the harder the impact, that's how God is trying to get your attention if you've been ignoring a lot of things for a long time, right? So stillness is not the absence of chaos. It is the center where chaos cannot reach you. Do you get what I'm saying? That's a very, very, very important thing I'm talking about there. Think about you being still in the center, completely aligned with Christ, the Holy Spirit. And it's like, you can imagine a golden vortex that just quiet, powerful, constant energy. That no matter how strong the storm, they can wobble, you can shake, but you ain't going to uncenter me or knock me off center. That's what it is. So chaos is something that happens around you. You observe it, you can see it. It's like happening through a window. It's like rain and hail and lightning happening and it hitting against the window. You can hear it, makes a lot of noise. But now the question is, do you think you're going to go running into the storm and try and stop the hail? Or do you observe what's occurring? around you and decide to become the center, the quiet center of the storm. What I want to talk about is the Buddha, because the Buddha was, and no, it's not about religion or anything, because we'll see in many ways the Buddha and Christ had or Jesus had very, very similar teachings. But I also want to say that there's a story that goes, and I mistakenly also for a while thought or believed that story, that the Buddha rose out of chaos to escape suffering. But that's not the case at all. The Buddha became the stillness and arose, didn't escape suffering, arose from suffering. Big difference. You could grow those proverbial wings I'm always talking about, that you literally are able to rise out of the swamp like a beautiful little dragonfly or a bee, right? So no matter what's down in there with gnawing, gnashing teeth, yang, 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 trying to get at you from the swamp, when you've risen above that, ain't nothing going to touch you, honey. Ain't nothing going to touch you. But I want to just talk about this because it wasn't really accurate. So I'm just going to talk about how he awakened, kind of like by sitting in the middle of chaos, right? The Buddha had already seen aging, death, injustice, suffering, right? He didn't deny it. He didn't fight it. And that's the same with Jesus. Think about what I'm saying, and you can apply the same thing to the Christian teachings. Jesus saw the suffering. He didn't come in and go, I'm waving my wand and poof, everything is fine. He didn't fight it. Absolutely. He stood up for what was right. There's a big difference. He didn't transcend it. He sat still in it. Think about Jesus and the crucifixion. How many of us believe that he could have transcended that crucifixion? But he didn't. He sat still in it. And in terms of Buddhism, when Mara appeared, which Mara in Buddhism is the symbol of fear, which is fear, distraction, temptation, chaos. Mara is the symbol of chaos, right? He didn't argue. He literally touched the earth and basically said, I am here. I am a witness. Think about what that means. Because for someone to sit in the center of chaos and say, I am here, I am a witness, kind of like what Jesus did in the center of his crucifixion. Talk about chaos, my God. Right? I'm a witness. Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. That moment, or those moments, weren't about chaos. I mean, peace replacing chaos. It was about stillness holding its ground whilst chaos exhausted itself. You with me? So this is definitely not just Buddhism. This is a universal pattern, really. You see the same intelligence everywhere, or most places, if you're looking for understanding our human experience, our human journey. The Buddha under the Bodhi tree, right? Where he was said to have received enlightenment. Christ, how many times did he calm the seas and the boats while storms around him raged? Stuff like that. Different cultures, same understanding. The Stoics also spoke about the inner citadel, right? While empires collapsed. So how does that translate to us? Because if we do not establish a center within ourselves, the world will move us to wherever it wants. They'll just shoot like a tree, just chop you off, take you next site, right? If you are not centered in who you are, you can get moved by anything. That tide will drag you away. So in order to transform stuff like this back into stillness, it's very important. Let's just take the Minnesota situation. So let's reframe that for a minute and maybe change the question to, what do we do when there isn't just one Minnesota, but many? So stillness is a practice. It's not a mood. That's the shift. When we start seeing that, things will start changing in your environment, which then has also the knock-on effect, right? And there are three simple places to begin, just in terms of this. How to find that stillness in a world full of Minnesotas right now, or Nigerias, or Israel, or Palestine. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. I totally pray that we all get to the point and realize no one deserves this trauma. No one. No one. So, first one, name the impact, not the opinion. So before you decide what you think, right, before the mind decides how it's going to frame the feeling in the body, notice what that situation did to you. Now, this is not just on mass social media scale, right? This is on in your personal relationships, anything, your life, right? So this is how we start discerning. This is how we start discerning truth from lies, that which is real and that which is false. This is step one. So name the situation that occurred. Minnesota occurred. Minnesota shooting. Not your on it. But before you decide what to think, how did your body feel? Did you have a tight chest? Did your breath become shallow? Were you feeling infuriated and enraged? Were you feeling sad? Because the wonderful thing about sitting with yourself and doing the shadow work is that if you don't name the object or the impact, that object or that impact, that situation runs you. It controls you. It absolutely handles your entire life. Name it. Don't shame it. Name it. No harshness here. You're just naming what you are feeling. If you're feeling sick with jealousy, acknowledge, I'm jealous. The things you feel so ashamed of, name them to yourself and your journal. Second one, refuse the urge to resolve this immediately. We all want that immediate satisfaction, don't we? We all want that quick fix. Your nervous system wants instant meaning, instant blame, instant karma, instant justice. Now, 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 now. But stillness is the refusal to rush the process. How many times have you guys not heard me say standing still is sometimes the best move you will ever make? When your entire nervous system feels like it wants to fly out of every cell of your body, that's the time you choose to be still. You breathe yourself through it. You just coax yourself through it. Not because you don't care, but because clarity requires regulation of the nervous system. Balance. Let's think about that. Let's think about that. Maybe in my heightened emotion, I missed that. I got to tell you, and you know, for me, I have certain trigger points. You better believe I do. And not too long ago, someone said something to me that triggered me. Now, this person had no idea what they said. But it was something that had been repeatedly, I mean, they knew what they said, but in context to me, that's what I'm saying. It was something that had said to me repeatedly in past situations that were triggering to me. I immediately was triggered. But I've cultivated enough wisdom, thankfully, in this instance, over the years, to recognize that was my trigger point. And when I sat with myself and I said, this is not about you, this is me. And I actually spoke to the person, I said, this and this has happened. I said, but please know, you've done or said nothing wrong. This is me, old patterns, still needing to be regulated. And in that moment, when I chose to deal with it like that, all of that triggering dissolved. And my whole outlook around that is so different now. I feel it in my cells. I feel it in my mind. It's in alignment, and I'm coherent with myself about that. Make sense? And number 3, anchor in the body. Sorry, anchor in the body. Let me just say that. Let me start again. Anchor in your body. Don't anchor in the narrative. You don't think your way into peace. Why do you think this planet has never been at peace for how many years now? How many millennia? Because those in control are not feelers with a heart. They're strategic thinkers. You don't think your way into peace. They might understand what peace might look like, and they might understand that we love peace, so they're going to gaslight us all the way, right? You regulate your way into clarity. In other words, you sit, you process, you think again, you feel how your body feels, and then boom, one day you wake up and you know what decision to make. That's right. Step away from it and focus on ourselves. So right, Lisa D. Absolutely. So, slow your breath. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Tap your feet on the ground. Feel those feet on the ground. Geez, that's what I do a lot whenever I'm feeling stressed. I just go, you'll see my whole body moving. That is not avoidance at all. That is you choosing to remain sovereign and aligned with you and God, your higher self. And here's why this is important, guys. This is why it's so important. A dysregulated population is very easy to manipulate. And they've been doing that for years. It's easy to divide. It's easy to control. It's easy to steer them in the direction that they want them to be. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is how you stay human when the world is trying to turn you into a reflex. So important to find that stillness. And your stillness you will always find with your breath. Change your breath, change the way you breathe. And I'll say this again. Why do you think yoga has been so demonized? Yoga teaches you how to regulate your body with your breath. They don't want you knowing that information. And really, you don't need any fancy yogic breathing either. I'll guarantee you that. I've been a yoga teacher for many years. And the most plain, simple, beautiful breath is always the most powerful and the most effective. Stillness is also how you grieve without being consumed. Be still when you're feeling sad. Go into that moment, you and God, your creator. What do you need to realize? What do you need to learn? What do you need to see about what's going on? Show me stillness. It's also how you recognize the injustice without becoming it. How many times do we talk about becoming the monster, right? You become the monster. How many, unfortunately, when we're looking at this whole cycle that's gone on in SRA for years and years, unfortunately, those of them who are in control right now did become the monster. But it doesn't mean there's no turning back. Did you see the dove in my house? But it doesn't mean there's no turning back. Yeah, and it's how you act without being hijacked, as I like to say. You act in a way that is in accordance with life, love, God, your creator. Then you become the tree, rooted, strong, connected. And even when the storms are there, they might wave or blow the leaves off your branches. But pretty soon you're blooming again. Yeah. So the storm may not stop. We have no control over the storm stopping. But meaning is really found in whether we let the storm dismantle us. Hear me. Meaning is found in whether or not we let the storm dismantle us or refine us. I choose refinement. Chaos is loud. Stillness is how we remember who we are. So, I really hope and I pray that my message today has reached some of you. Let me just see. I haven't seen the comments here yet. Sorry. Into remembering. Oh, I need some drink. We are really in a world filled with craziness at the moment. The world is crazy. There's a lot going on. And as I say, this morning, for me, just before I started my yoga, or about 20 minutes before, I actually heard about this Minnesota stuff. And I was very, very triggered. Wow. And then my granddaughter called. We turned that around for me completely. Oh, and what I wanted to actually say about that as well. Be the phone call for somebody that she was for me this morning. You know, as a healer, I've heard many beautiful stories in my life, many tragic ones as well, but very many beautiful ones. There have been times where I've absolutely trusted my intuition. And boy, had I not made a phone call or been there at a certain time, at a certain place, I would have missed out on something big. And one of them as well, making a phone call to someone at the right time who was about to take her life. That happened many years ago, a good friend of mine. And she said to me, "Why are you calling?" I said, "I have no idea. I just now need to call you. What's up?" And then she told me, be the phone call. If you get the urge to call someone, if you get the urge to message someone, a nice, friendly, happy message, something joyful, something that will perk up their day, do that. Be the one that makes someone's day special. Be the one that smiles at the checkout, the lady at the checkout counter. Yeah, it's always people that seem happy and fine, and they are not. It's very true. And we know that with so many of our survivors, right? I mean, what our survivors have been through, and you all know, I mean, my heart is for the survivors, definitely. And Penny Bradley pointed out something very apt the other day. Survivors, most of them are not very nice people. And that's not a judgment at all. That's an observation because of the trauma a lot of survivors have been through. So to be a calm in the storm for people, to be the one that sends that message or makes that phone call, especially when you don't feel like it. And that's why I say her little face was, her eyes were all, she's on holiday, she's still on school holiday. Her little eyes were puffy and full of sleep. And she just phoned because she just woke up and she had a feeling she must phone me. And that changed my day completely. And it brought me to be able to pass this message on today. And in these horrific times, and you know, no one can gauge how anyone else feels, really, but I think everyone recognizes kindness. So let's be kind. Let's be nice. I know sometimes this mouth of mine, it's getting better though, getting better. I want to just see if there's anything. Are you giving me a hard time? I didn't even see you giving me a hard time. Who's giving me a hard time, Lisa D? Oh, well, I'm used to that anyway. Okay, guys. I'm going to leave it there. I have Dr. Dennis in an hour. So you'll be seeing me again on Ara, Aquarius Rising Africa, in an hour. And you guys make me smile as well. I appreciate you all. And thank you so much for joining this channel. It's a whole new vibe on here now. Different energy, still healing and still good news stuff and transformation and talking about amazing stuff. So those of you who've joined us here, thank you. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for participating. And thank you for joining our Patreons, our members, our coffee, whatever. We really, really, really do appreciate you. Lisa D, do I need to pull your beautiful ears today? I love that. I'm not the storm. Is that Mama PDB? I'm not the storm, the eye of the storm, the calm center of it. All the chaos around me doesn't have exactly. That's exactly it. Be the calm in the storm. Remember, you are the center. You are the stillness that chaos cannot reach. It can't reach it. It's impossible. So, have a beautiful day, everybody. I look forward to next week. And always, I've got a couple of topics. Mona and I have been chatting about topics we're going to do on this in the field with Chanti. It's going to be related topics. Always offering you solutions. Hey, I think let's do a little hum link, shall we? So after this, what I can do, let's just do a breath exercise for 4 counts of breath. So for those of you who would like to stay, we're going to do a hum link quickly. And for the others who'd like to pop off, you're welcome. The show is done. We're just going to have the hum link, the breath work. So for those of you who haven't done it before, if you've been doing the Ankara series, you'll know. We are shaped like the Ankh, right? Head, arms, body. Can you see it? Yes, head, arms, body, head, arms, body. And so the head represents consciousness, resurrection of consciousness. Arms, hands, crossed from the heart. So horizontal bar, the arms that relate to the heart, and the stem, the body. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through it and get your beautiful bodies, beings, minds in sync. Yes, Lisa D, I think I must do this for you, because especially if you were giving me a hard time earlier. This one's for you, Lisa D. Okay, everybody, sit comfortably where you are and just uncross your arms and cross your legs and just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in and visualize yourself situated in your honeycomb hexagon, surrounded in your honeycomb hexagon. So as you breathe in for 4, visualize the loop of the Ankh surrounding your head. And I'm just going to talk you through it first, and then we're going to hold for 4 as you let that vibration settle into your cells. And on the exhale, we're going to exhale for 8 or release it for 8. You can either breathe it or hum it out for 8, and then you hold for 4 and you settle the breath, and then we start again. We're going to repeat that 4 times. Yeah, you want to join me? Yay, let's do it. Okay, close your eyes. Hexagon surrounding you. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale or hum it out for 8. Settle your breath for 4. Inhale for 4 around the loop. Consciousness expands. Hold for 4, spreading through your cells. Hum it out for 8 on the exhale. Hold for 4. Rest in your breath. Inhale for 4, consciousness expands around the loop. Hold for 4, settling in your cells, expanding. Exhale, hum it out for 8. Hold for 4, rest in your breath. Last round. Inhale for 4, consciousness expands. Hold, feel it spread. And now on the exhale, we're not going to hum, you're just going to breathe it out for 8. Hold for 4, rest in your breath. And gently open your eyes, come back to center. And I hope you're feeling nice, relaxed. and vibrating. And remember, nothing nasty, no entity, no illness, no anything that is not in alignment with your highest good can stick in a body that vibrates. So when you hum to your body, and especially if you have an illness or a blockage somewhere in your body, focus your awareness on that part. Let's say you might have a sore knee. Close your eyes, focus your awareness on your knee, and hum to your knee. Hum to your knee. You're serenading your body when you do this. So your body's created from sound, remember? One of the things is sound. So now you're bringing sound back in. You're humming to your body. You're aligning. Anything that's nasty or it's going to start being shaken out, and it's going to bring you back into coherence. This is all you need, guys. In the long run, this is all you need. When you start remembering who you are in the deepest way, you will know what I mean. And on that note, I say thank you. God bless you. Hum away the whole night. You can never over hum. Hum at least 4 times a day for at least 5 minutes at a time, and you'll enjoy it. You're welcome, babe. And La Tourist Viva. Is that how I say it? La Tourist Viva. Feels good. It does, doesn't it? Feels amazing. Yeah. Beautiful. Nice break from melting in 45. Yeah, that's amazing. Do that. Hum to yourself. Hum to your breath. Hum to your body. If there's guys, I've never grown vegetables things in my life before. Okay? You must see my veggie patch. I hum. You must see my herb garden. I hum. No one can believe my beautiful plants in my garden. I hum to them. I mean, I always think, poor ears of the plants, but hey, apparently they like it. Hum to everything. Hum to your food. Hum to your meat. If you're a meat eater, hum to your meat. Thank the animal. Sound will release it. Send it back to the heavenly realms. Sure as heck does. I'm an animal communicator. I talk with them all the time about this stuff. So, on that note, for the 3rd or the 4th or the 10th time, God bless you all. Thank you for watching. Take good care. I'll see you in 45 minutes. Okay, bye. Stay humming. Stay humming.